Alright, what's up guys? Today I'll be going over the 1000 voices and breaking down everything about it. How do you get it? If it's good or not, if it's good damage per second wise, if it's good like sustained damage, if it's good for ad clear, whatever, all that good stuff. And so if you don't know what this gun is, it is the new raid exclusive drop from the boss fight. So basically when you complete the boss, you get like a key to one of the chests, and as you see, there's this room with all these different chests, and I personally believe only one chest of all these have it. So upon every completion of the raid, one person can open one of these chests, and if it's the right one, you will get it. And each chest can only be opened once per run. So once one person gets it, it's not like the second person can go open the exact same chest. And that's the way I believe it works myself. But we were world's first, and world's first was guaranteed all 6 of them to get it from the chest. So that's why I have it along with my teammates. So now let's start breaking down the gun. So it has Armcar's Eye, which is charging this weapon unleashes a giant continuous beam of death. Yeah, okay. Extended barrel, liquid coils. Then its other main perk is Unforeseen Repercussions. This weapon's beam superheats its targets upon impact, causing delayed explosions. So this gun seems and sounds pretty serious when it has death in the description of its exotic perk. And as you see, it has max impact, max range, and a pretty slow charge rate. So first I'm going to talk about the ammo economy of this weapon. As you see, it has 7 total. But with armor perks, you can up that, as you'll see here. So this gun is a heavy fusion rifle, and as you see right here, you can get a perk on helmets called Fusion Rifle Reserves, which increases the amount of total ammo you can carry in a fusion rifle. But the Fusion Rifle Scavenger perk is only for special ammo fusions, so it does not work on this one. And with that helmet on, as you see, I now get 8 total, so I get 1 extra shot from 7 to 8. Then also whenever I pick up a box, I get guaranteed 2 per box. Without, I was getting 1 every once in a while. So using a reserve perk for this weapon is actually pretty good in terms of the ammo economy. And as you see, just showing off how the gun actually works, as you saw right there, I shot it, dragged it across the screen wherever I wanted to go. Then when it exploded, it killed all of them. And once again, as you see here, I just quickly turned around and killed most of the things in the room by just dragging it across the room. And then a second later, it explodes. So now let's start breaking down the actual damage of the weapon and comparing it to other things such as Sleeper, the Coil, then also the Whispers. So I'm going to be comparing it to some of the other exotic heavy weapons in the game that are damage dealing weapons. So first, starting with a single shot of all 4 of those weapons I just mentioned. First with the 1000 Voices on the Ogre on the Lost Sector of Titan. As you see, it takes them just under 1 full bar, so like roughly 40% of his health, maybe like 37-ish. Now with the Sleeper, with just 1 shot, hit a crit, and it takes them to like 20%, 25-ish%, not a full bar. Now the Coil takes them to roughly the same spot the Voices did. As you see, it took them a little bit over 1 bar. And finally with Whisper of the Worm with box breathing, as you see, it takes them like 2/3 of the way through the first bar, so not that much. Now I'm going to compare the time to kill on this guy with all the weapons, so I'm actually going to fully kill him and time how long it took for all the weapons. So with the Voices at first, it took 5.3, which isn't bad. Now with the Sleeper, it takes roughly 4.78 seconds, so a little bit faster. Now with the Coil, which is the fastest, but it only has 5 total ammo, so keep in mind when I shoot 3 shots, that's almost all of its ammo. It took 3.6 seconds. And finally with Whisper of the Worm with box breathing, which got a pretty heavy nerf to its base crit damage in Forsaken, the Whisper now takes 4.73 seconds. So comparing them all up on the screen at the same time, the Voices isn't the fastest time to kill, but it can kind of hold its own in this category. That's not where it necessarily shines in terms of damage per second, but where the Voices does shine in terms of damage on single target is its sustained damage. Out of all the guns, the 1000 Voices took the least amount of ammo to kill the guy. The only one that also took 3 shots was Coil, but keep in mind, Coil's max reserves is 5, so that's a much higher percent of the total ammo. So the 1000 Voices single shot damage is extremely high compared to almost anything else in the game, but to make up for that, the charge rate is obviously extremely slow, which means its damage per second isn't the best, but at the same time it's not that bad. So where this gun really shines at is its ad clear potential, then on top of that it's single target damage, so it's kind of like a combo of both. So as you see, when all these ads spawn up here in a second in the Permidian, I can kill everything easily in 3 swipes, and I'm obviously still learning the gun myself, so maybe it's not the most optimal swipes I'm doing right now. But as you see, the damage this thing can do to groups of ads is actually insane. So the area of effect explosion of this gun is very strong, which led me to start testing how the actual area effect explosion actually works. So as you see, direct impacting this ogre took him down to that little bit over the first bar. Now I'm going to shoot it on the ground underneath him and not actually hit him with it, so the only damage done to him will be from the explosion itself. And as you see, it still took almost another full bar down, so a good like 80% of the damage of this gun is from the explosion and not the direct impact. So when you're killing ads, just putting it on the ground or walls around them is not really losing out that much damage, but on a single target, obviously you want to be shooting straight at them for that extra impact damage. As you see, the range of the explosion is actually pretty big. I'm trying to shoot farther and farther away from the ogre, and as you see, it's still hitting them for most of the damage. Obviously, you do get damage drop-off, so the best way is to put the explosions right on the target you're trying to hit, but it has a pretty good radius. And another thing I show here is the damage drop-off is basically irrelevant. As long as the laser can hit someone, it's going to be doing full damage. But the laser can only go so far like a trace rifle, so eventually you will not be hitting things with the actual laser itself. So the rest of this video will just be some general gameplay and strikes and poke bins and whatnot, and as you see right here, and as you'll see throughout some of these clips, as I learn the gun better and better, you can just see what I'm doing with it, and it's actually absurd how many things you can kill with just one shot of this thing. Majors, red bars, anything. Like, if there's a group of enemies and you want them dead, you just swipe around and they're gone. It's actually insane. This gun really reminds me of all the old, really good D1 raid exotics that were very unique to the raid, were hard to get, and were actually very, very good in their own right. It's probably overall one of the most unique guns in the history of the game. The fact that you can just shoot this laser beam around, then it catches on fire and explodes, and it's a fusion, but kind of like a trace rifle, but kind of like a rocket launcher. It's like all these things all at once, and it's so cool. It reminds you of obviously the raid boss. That's what's kind of modeled after. And it's what a raid exotic should be. They couldn't have done any better with this gun, period. And the fact that it's such a low drop rate, like the old school ones from D1, is great. The number being thrown around right now is like a 3-4% drop chance. I don't know if that's true, but the way I think it works, it's only in one of the chests at the end. So if you take all the chests that were there, and obviously find the percent from that. My entire fire team obviously got it because we were world's first, which was a very, very nice thing that they did, making world's first actually like kind of unique and cool. We all have the gun right away without having to grind for it. When I say we don't have to grind for it, obviously we grinded for world's first. That is the grind to get it for us, but you know what I mean, we don't have to go through and get the lucky chance. So overall, I would say this gun is definitely worth grinding for once you can do the raid, once you have a team ready for the raid, once you're on light for the raid, and all that good stuff. It's probably my favorite gun in D2 so far. I'm not sure about Destiny as a whole. For exotic wise, I think Touch of Malice to me was a little bit more special and unique, but this gun is definitely up there with things like that. Another thing about this gun, it has a very, very high learning curve, so I don't even know how to fully use it correctly yet. I don't think anyone does. It'll probably take us a few weeks to learn like the most optimal way to use it. Like, it seems pretty obvious, you just charge it up and, you know, whip it around, but I'm pretty sure as we learn more and more about it and the right situations to use it in, we'll probably get better with the gun. It definitely is a unique thing that no one's ever experienced before, so there's no way that we know how to use it properly yet. But anyways, overall, I think Forsaken so far has been amazing. There's still more secrets to find in Dreaming City, more secrets to find in the raid, but this raid was, god damn, this raid was insane. Like, our world's first took 18 hours, 48 minutes, and there were so many emotions throughout those almost 19 hours. Points where we want to give up, points where we got like super excited because we finally got damage or, you know, whatever. So many ups and downs. Easily the hardest raid they've ever put out, easily the most challenging, easily the most brutal, all those things. Like, you can't even, it's so hard to explain the emotion that went through all of our heads when we killed the raid boss. The next thing we know, we still had to keep playing. Like, that right there was like the craziest turn in any raid ever. You kill the raid boss, next thing you know, there's another counter that is as brutal, if not even more brutal. It's 580, we're all 20 to 30 under, and just straight ad clear. Ads everywhere. And just to think that this gun only comes from beating that hard activity, then also getting the correct chest, and getting that one drop, and also the fact that we have it guaranteed because we were world's first is just, it's just insane. Forsaken is easily the best expansion they've ever put out, best piece of content they've ever put out. And yeah, I think that's basically all I want to say about this gun and this raid so far. Anyways, let me know what you think about the raid and this gun based off my gameplay. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.